Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach self-government, which is all about family unity and bonding. In this video, we're going to talk about how to mend a broken relationship with a family member. There is nothing worse than feeling disconnected from a person that you want desperately to feel close to. When our family bonds are fractured, it hurts us. It's a weight that we have to carry around with us, and we want to desperately fix this. I know what this feels like. I've had situations in my past where I have had relationships feel distant or even strained with people, and I've taken steps to help mend those broken relationships. There are things you can do. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 steps that you can go through to mend that broken relationship and mend your hearts at the same time. Step number 1 is to forgive them. No matter whose fault it was, usually both of you are at fault for something. At the very least, for a hard feeling that you've had, that you've carried. Maybe you think it was something that they did. They did something wrong. They offended you in some way. Or maybe they chose to take offense by you in some way. Either way, it hurt. You have to decide, without them even being there, that it is helpful and productive to forgive them. Sometimes we think that before we can fully forgive someone, we have to hear the words, "I'm sorry," from them. That's an entitlement mentality. When we really want to fix a relationship and get our heart in the right place, we have to forgive them without them even being there. I am fully aware that there are sometimes very big things that have happened to us. Sometimes we have been severely mistreated, maybe even abused by another person. But that doesn't mean we allow our hearts to stay hardened and to be in a condition that makes life heavy and difficult for us. We have to get rid of our own burden before we can fully fix a relationship or choose to move on from a bad experience. So, forgive them. How do you forgive them? Give them the benefit of the doubt that they made a mistake and maybe have moved on. Now, I know that sometimes people don't move on from their mistakes. Sometimes they don't think they've made any mistakes at all. But every person can learn and grow, and because of that, we can choose to think they can learn and grow from this. I need to learn and grow from this too. I'm not going to hold on to it anymore. So tell yourself, I forgive them. Maybe even look at a picture of them and say, I forgive you. Whatever happened is going to be in the past now. That brings me to step number 2. Step number 2 is forgive yourself. Now, this means you have to acknowledge that you had a part in this broken relationship. Even if they started it, there was a point where you decided to be offended, to be angry, maybe to think some things or feel some things that created a distance in your relationship. Those are things that you did wrong that created even more of a broken relationship than was there to begin with. Anytime there's a broken relationship, 2 people usually felt bad on each side of it, and they have to mend themselves. You can't control if they forgive you and forgive themselves, but you can control if you forgive them and if you forgive yourself too. So one of the ways that you forgive yourself is by honestly acknowledging what you did that was wrong. And I mean fully honest. We don't do everything right all the time. That's not what it is to be a human. We're constantly learning and growing. So forgive yourself from whatever you did, the thoughts that you had that created that distance, and move on. Step number 3 is to reach out. There was a time when I had a relationship that had become very strained with a person that I loved, and it was hard. It was heavy. That person did not want to talk to me for about 1.5 years. And I loved that person. In fact, I had no idea why the person didn't want to talk to me. I didn't know if I'd done something and if there was something I needed to fix. They just started being distant, and every time I was around them, they would talk to other people, but not me. It was very strange. And I recognized that I needed to forgive them for such strange behavior. I also needed to forgive myself. So I had to tell myself, if I've done something wrong, which maybe I have, I need to forgive myself for that, even before I find out what it is. Then I reached out to the person. I tried calling, but that didn't really work. So usually a call or a letter that gets sent in the mail is the best way to reach out to a person. Texts are very impersonal and oftentimes too short to really do justice to whatever the issue might be. And emails are too easy to ignore. So call the person. If they don't answer the call and you can't actually speak to them voice to voice or face to face, then send them a letter. Write down how you really feel about the person. All those good things, not the feelings of hurt and pain. Those really are irrelevant when we're talking about trying to mend a broken relationship. Those things can be talked about later after we figure out what the situation really is that we're dealing with. Now, maybe you know your situation completely. You know how that person has hurt you. This letter or this phone call is not a time to dump your emotions on that other person yet again. Even if you've never fully been able to do it, if you want to mend the relationship, we don't start by emotionally unloading on the other person. That is not healing, it is divisive. So when you write that letter or make that phone call, the things that you want to be talking about are what you want for the relationship, what you hope that they'll tell you if you're not sure how you've offended them, why you care about the relationship, and how much you value who they really are. This change of heart that I've been talking about is key to a person governing themselves. In fact, when a person learns self-mastery, what it means is they learn how to change their own heart. If you want to find more out about the self-government teaching that I do for individuals and families, be sure to check out teachingselfgovernment.com. Step number 4 is to ask for forgiveness and to apologize. I know that seems weird in some circumstances because sometimes you feel like you didn't do anything. I know. I had that experience where I didn't know anything that I'd done. But in my letter, I asked. And then that person that I love so much called me. And I asked her again on the phone, hey, what is it that I did that bothered you so much? And she tried to explain, but even she couldn't fully articulate it. It had almost been too long. It was like she had developed a habit of being disconnected from me, and she didn't know how to fix that problem either. So even though she wasn't fully sure why she was feeling disconnected from me and why she wasn't talking to me, I still apologized and said, I'm so sorry that I didn't say something sooner. I'm so sorry that I allowed this to go on. And I'm so sorry that whatever started all of this was possibly something that I might have said or done. It's okay to be sorry. In fact, being sorry is a sign of deep love. It means you actually care about that other person. And when they feel that caring, they will almost always reciprocate that feeling of sorrow and ask for your forgiveness too. Step number 5 is to drop the subject. So in all of the skills that I teach in the Teaching Self-Government Parenting System, there is a step to these skills called drop the subject. That means after you have done the skill, whether it's following instructions, accepting no answers, disagreeing appropriately, there's a point where you just don't talk about it anymore. This is actually a good practice for any problem that you're trying to solve. There's a time when it's very healthy to let that problem go, to not think about it anymore, to not associate that problem with that person, so that you can truly have a fresh start and move on. If you are able to drop the subject, meaning tell yourself to stop thinking about it anymore. Tell yourself, I'm done with that. I will not think about that problem anymore. It is over. If that problem comes into my mind again, I will tell it to go away. If you can do that, then you can heal the relationship. In fact, most likely you'll end up feeling closer to that person than you even did before the problem, because you will realize that you can love and care about that person despite any problems that will come your way. Now, also, both of you will know that even if there's a problem in the future, you'll be able to move on. You'll be able to leave that problem behind and not allow it to damage your relationship. When we forgive ourselves, when we forgive another person, when we talk to them about it really openly and honestly, and then drop the subject and leave that problem in the past, this can seem like a lot of work. In fact, it can take time to go through this process. But this is a key part of having a growth mindset. If you've liked this video, then I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy my next video, which is how a growth mindset can improve love or family relationships. Click on that video now and learn more about growth mindset and self-government and how your relationships can become stronger.